Hi, my name is Jonathan, and I'm a 16-year-old grade 11 student attending Canali High School in Edmonton, Alberta. The title of my project is Antiplasmodial and Ceremonial, a rationale for using Kebericho to combat malaria. Costs and potential toxicity are among the many problems researchers face with medicine today. Time and time again, medicinal plants have contributed significantly to disease treatment. Drugs like quasinoids and chloroquine, both obtained from plants, have contributed heavily and significantly to the development of antimalarial drugs. The emergence of drug-resistant pathogens has necessitated the development of new plant-based antimalarial agents. This innovative study was conducted to validate the usage of Echinops Kebericho, a herb endemic to Ethiopia, in treating malaria, and analyzes findings on its chemical properties while putting forward novel ideas to pave the way for further experimentation on Kebericho. So, many of us know what malaria is. We know that it's a life-threatening disease. Well, it's caused by plasmodium parasites that are spread to people through the bites of infected Anopheles mosquito vectors. In 2018, nearly half the world's population was at risk, but most malaria cases and deaths prevail in sub-Saharan Africa. This data was obtained from the World Health Organization. Although countries have drastically reduced the number of malaria cases and deaths since 2000, progress in recent years has been stalled. Moreover, in many of these countries, malaria is back on the rise. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's been an emergence of resistance to insecticides among Anopheles mosquitoes, a genus of mosquitoes in which 100 different species can transmit human malaria. In the WHO's latest World Malaria Report, they listed 73 countries as reporting mosquito resistance to at least one of the four commonly used insecticide classes between 2010 and 2018. In 27 countries, resistance to all of the four classes was reported, and in countries like Guyana and Rwanda, resistance to artemisinin, a common antimalarial drug derived from plants, was found as a result of a mutation. Again, in the WHO Eastern Mediterranean region, high failure rates of treatment with artesunate sulfadoxine pyrimethamine, or ASSP for short, for Plasmodium falciparum were found in Somalia and Sudan. This is the same drug that's being used to treat pregnant women and protect them and their infants in high transmission areas. And the fact that these drugs that are being used to protect them are becoming less and less effective is an alarming concern. Currently, there are three mainstream methods that we use to protect ourselves from malaria and to treat malaria. The first method is insecticide-treated mosquito nets, also known as ITNs. The second method is indoor residual spraying, also known as an IRS. IRSs are essentially just spraying rooms and buildings and houses and the walls and the roofs with insecticides. And finally, we have antimalarial drugs. These three different methods of combating malaria all have their cons. Mainly, malaria parasites are becoming more and more resistant to them. Also, Anopheles mosquito vectors are becoming more and more resistant to them. So, in my research, I referenced a study done in 2015, a series of experiments by Drs. Alamayu Toma, Sarawit Dino, Abram Fikru, Afowork Ayado, and Andrew Beal. And essentially, they used Kebericho, and they tested its antimalarial efficacy. And so back home in Ethiopia, where my parents are from, they used Kebericho to treat malaria, and they use themselves to protect themselves from it. They use it like a spray, like a mosquito repellent, but mainly as a drug that they ingest orally as an essential oil. So the people in this study essentially applied the same process here, and they tested this theory out. They tested to see if the traditional usage of Echinops Kebericho could be validated. And so in this study, they found that it actually does work. They found that it can suppress parasitemia. So essentially, the results of that experiment, I've included that in my report on my poster. The graph is there. You can take a look and see for yourself what happened. But just to give you a quick rundown, there were 5 groups that were experimented on. 2 of those were control groups. One was the positive control group, one was the negative. The positive control group received a dosage of chloroquine along with the malaria parasites. The negative control group got the parasites, but it did not get any type of antimalarial drug. It just got the parasites, and they let it grow for 10 days. Your other 3 test groups, so each of those got a increasingly higher dosage of the Kebericho extract, And what they found in this experiment was the higher the dosage of Kebericho extract, the more antimalarial it is, of course. And so they did find that Kebericho does have antimalarial effects. That was found in this experiment. And so the next steps from here are essentially to isolate the Kebericho extract, isolate the exact antimalarial, specific antimalarial agents to form a more potent and powerful compound. Because right now this is just sort of a diluted compound, I'd say. It's not the best that can be made out of it. So it would require further lab work to get the exact antimalarial agents and extract those and create a powerful drug. And so that is the next step in my research. In the future, with the assistance of my mentor, Dr. Stephanie Yano, I hope to isolate and identify the specific antimalarial agents found in E. Kebericho from its extract, further investigate its uses, and develop the model for a new drug capable to fight malaria. My initial hope for this project was to actually go to a lab and do some more experiments and isolate the specific agents, but because of COVID-19 and having to work remotely, unfortunately that could not be done. So instead we took the research route and we analyzed the data that we found about the tests of its antimalarial effects. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation, and I hope you found it interesting and refreshing and offering great insight onto Kebericho, and hope you learned something new about Echinops Kebericho. Thank you for your time.